Microsoft just launched free Teams.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook has Workplace. This Microsoft product has been billed as a Slack killer.
Yep.
Is that cutting into your share at all?
No, it hasn't really shown up in like actual usage at customers yet. Where it does show up is in the sales process.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what'll be really interesting is, people talk about new Microsoft versus old Microsoft. Where I think that will make a big difference is what the policies are for customers. Enterprise software is an enormous category. Mm-hmm. Microsoft is the single biggest company in that category, but it's still probably only 5% of all revenue. So there's another 95%. And the reality is customers make their choices. They will use one product from one company for one part of their business and another for another. And the degree to which they can interoperate or integrate with one another is really important for the amount of value you can create. So first of all, it's good validation for us. Second of all, we're way ahead on the product side.
So you're not worried about it?
No.
Okay. So you said you're running the company to get ready to go public, but you're not necessarily going public. Where are you now in that?
Kind of in the same position. I mean, I think it's difficult to contemplate, or there's not many outcomes where we don't end up going public. I don't have any kind of timeline. We're not in a rush to achieve that. It is an unusual circumstance because I think in any other 10 years ago, 20 years ago, we would have been public long before we got to this stage. We're a big company with hundreds of millions in revenue, and we're still private.
Would you consider selling? I mean, we've chased speculation that there's a buyer out there for Slack at an insane valuation.
There's definitely people who would be willing to buy it. So first of all those stories are wrong. It doesn't work that way with private companies. So it's a much more circumspect kind of conversation. Hey, Stewart, if you would be interested in talking about how our companies could work more closely together, we would also be interested in having that conversation, or something like that. And if we don't respond positively to that, if we don't say, yeah, that sounds great, let's talk about it, there's no offer. No one ever just says here's a check, want me to sign it? We're so optimistic about the future and having so much fun, and I personally would like to do this for another 20 or 30 years if I can. It doesn't make sense to sell it. And I also I feel like when I say unbounded potential, I mean, we should end up as big as Microsoft if we're able to execute in the way that I hope we can.